with a perfect song, Agent Meow.
That is right. And ladies and gentlemen, it's about to come down, men, here in a quickness as these folks are already out there getting ready to get on that line. Now, just to give you a little recap, what we've seen here so far is actually the Bridgetown Menace have beaten PSOD in their first bout here today, and their Belligerents did fall to St. Louis. So this right now is a battle for some pride and to get some wins back in their categories.
Outcasts are going to send in Speed Dealer as their jammer going up against Downer. The line in the back is going to be full of Outcasts, Rattleack, Quadzilla, Thunderstruck, and Bonus Jonas.
Right now, both teams trying to push to open a hole and get their way through.
Slobby Joe now holding the front line, working with the pivot there at the front for Deep Valley Belligerents. Bonus Jonas then volleying for position. He's going to try to shut down Downer. Quadzilla then moving up to the front for the Outcasts, trying to break a hole there and get in front of Graves. The pivot for Deep Valley Belligerents. Speed Dealer on the inside lane, followed up by Thunderstruck.
Now that is some really fantastic defense we're seeing right now by both teams. It was 2 laps before a jammer actually breached that pack.
Bonus Jonas, Quadzilla attempting to bridge the pack there. However, Downer is able to escape the claws of Rattleack number 35, last line of defense.
Now right there, that was a really smart move by Speed Dealer to go ahead and call off that jam. He knew the Belligerents were coming around. They were in a scoring position, and so that's why you want to call off a jam when you got lead jammer. Right now we've got Slamilton out on the track with a star on his helmet.
He's going up with Mr. Dick, number 69. He is donning a star here for the Deep Valley Belligerents. He's going to pull through around the pivot, dilly-dally for the Outcast. Scott Slamilton now has cleared the pack as well on that non-scoring pass.
Well, we saw a lot of defense in that first one. Right now, we're not seeing the defense as both jammers are out. Wisely, he calls it off because it was a run to the back of the pack. Now, he knew that his blockers were lined up in the back, and so he didn't want to give up any of those points. Right now, it's only a 2-0 lead by the Outcast. So that's right where you want to keep it with the heavy defense. Right now, we see Quadzilla, number 23, taking the line. And he's going to be going up against O. Henry, number O.
Penalty bar starts out empty. O. Henry getting stuck behind a wall. Rattleack, Quadzilla actually goes in, push him out. He is the jammer for the Outcast. Nice recycling by Bonus Jonas to come in for an assist. Rattleack, Bowser working with Hunter in that 3-wall, trying to shut down the jammer for Deep Valley Belligerent.
And right there, he found that open hole on the outside, ran up it, and some fantastic defense on the inside, holding back a Quadzilla. Not an easy task to do.
O. Henry now going to try to slip his way around Bonus Jonas. He gets knocked out of bounds on turn 2.
Now that was fantastic footwork by Mr. Jonas, eking around, slapping his hands on his hip, taking hits on the way out, but he knew Quadzilla wasn't very much far behind him. Now we're going to see once again on the pivot line, Scott Slamilton and Culture Shock, number 3.
Culture Shock was in heavy jammer rotation here earlier today. He's getting hung up by Dilly Dally. As Scott Slamilton getting an assist by Corey Payne. However, that goes to Culture Shock.
Once again, both these jammers very quick to get out of that pack, and we're seeing the jammer-on-jammer action. Scott Slamilton knew he wasn't the lead jammer, but he forces the call off. 4-2 right now on the scoreboard. Great play by both teams. This is such a hard-hitting, top-notch game we're seeing right here with these two teams, both ranked in the top 10 of the MRDA. Right now we see Mr. Dick putting the star on and Dilly Dally for Puget Sound.
Again, we've had a relatively clean game thus far. We're going to have Mr. Dick.
Now, what we've seen here is 3 lead jammer status by the Belligerents, and they are basically controlling the score right now. And yes, he did. He picked up 1 point and hold the Puget Sound Outcast scoreless. So that's exactly what you're going to want to do. Hit it and quit it. Get your point and then go forth. Looks like there was a late call on the end of that. There was a cut track being called, and one of the Outcasts is going to be sitting in the penalty box to start this next jam, giving a 4-3 pack advantage for the Belligerents. Speed Dealer number 53 taking the line for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
Speed Dealer going up against Downer number 28. Speed Dealer trying to push his way around Culture Shock. Nice maneuvering there by Graves for the Deep Valley Belligerents. Thunderstruck, the pivot here out in front, holding the front line for the Outcast. Speed Dealer looking for some assists. Speed Dealer gets infielded by Chemtrail number 76. Oh, nice 3-wall at the front of the pack. Corey Payne goes in for a shutdown on Downer.
Corey Payne living up to his name, dealing it out back there. The captain himself just really shutting down that jammer and making it easy for the Speed Dealer to get around.
Speed Dealer now coming through on a scoring basket, shut down at the back of the pack. He makes easy use of the inside lane. Nice maneuvering by Corey Payne once again. He takes out Downer right at turn 1.
Oh, there's a penalty called. It was an elbow, so he will be spending a little bit of time. That's going to put 2 blockers only out there for Puget Sound.
And Thunderstruck the pivot then moves out in front of number 28, Downer. Oh, huge takedown on Speed Dealer. He's going to incur and be assessed the cut track penalty. This is now Power Jam in favor of Downer, number 28. The Outcasts were sitting on a 2-point lead. Corporal Punishment tries to push Thunderstruck into Downer. Nice passive offense here in the back of the pack with Izzy Serious, Culture Shock, Graves, and Chemtrail.
Now, right now, you're seeing a defense I call Little Smokies because they're lining up on both sides. You got 2 and 2, and you're letting your jammer do all the work. Very passive offense.
Downer then trying to get around Bonus Jonas. Corporal Punishment goes in with Thunderstruck, bridging the pack. Bonus Jonas is forced to allow Downer to get through for another 5-point scoring pass, bringing the Deep Valley Belligerents to 15 to the Outcast 7. Izzy Serious, Graves, Chemtrail, Culture Shock working the pack with a passive offense at the back.
And this is where you're going to score all your points is on these power jams. There's been some debate and some controversy about these power jams being scored like this. This jam is called off. 5 more points being picked up. That's going to make it 20-10. Puget Sound down by 10 points. And they are going to start this next jam with Speed Dealer camping out in the pass blue ribbon penalty box. We're going to see number 69 once again out there. That's going to be Mr. Dick in the power jam to get this start.
From now on, I'm calling him Freckles, number 69, Freckles. Freckles then trying to get around Radillac. He's forced out, but he maintains balance inbounds. Freckles, number 69, Mr. Dick, pulls through to take the status of lead jammer.
Is there something about Mr. Freckles I don't know? All right, well, they managed to eke him out of bounds, but that's good defense to slow down those blockers from going back.
Wow, Corey Payne goes in for a sweep on Freckles.
Yeah, Mr. Dick is on a scoring pass right now, and he's trying to eke his way through and get his points.
Yeah, he gets knocked out by number 33, Sloppy Joe, the pivot, and then he pushes him out, and we're going to get a cut track penalty once again for Speed Dealer. So now we've had the jammer in the box for the Outcasts at least twice, and these are jammer penalties, which have a huge impact on the game.
That's right. So far, that's another scoring pass. It's 25-10, and this is where the power jam, it just becomes deadly. You get your people in penalty problems, and you're going to be racking up lots of points against yourself.
Hurts the team to have a jammer in the box. That's another 5-point scoring pass for Mr. D. As Dilly Dally goes in for a hip check there. Corey Payne then goes in for another. We're going to have another 5-point scoring pass for Freckles.
Now they're still set up that passive offense right now, letting their jammer getting abused and doing all the work for him.
This is where the walls come in really, really handy. Quadzilla works with Corey Payne. Corey Payne with a force out on Mr. Dick, recycling back to the back of the pack. Graves goes in and tries to knock out Corey Payne. Corey Payne, Quadzilla, and Radillac working with Dilly Dally to stretch out the pack here.
Corey Payne really dishing it out in this jam. He caused that, causing Mr. Dick. What that is him stopping the bleeding. They took him out of bounds, and as you know, when you go out as a player, you cannot enter in front of the blocker in front of you. So in that case, they all run backwards, making that jammer or the player that is gone out of bounds follow them all the way back. Real heads-up play there. And to start this next jam, we are going to see O. Henry, number O.
O. Henry going to try to get around Bowser and Scott Slamilton. Thunderstruck then getting in the mix. Little Timmy try to bridge the pack. Nice takeout by Thunderstruck.
That was really interesting. He picked up lead jammer, but because he was knocked out of bounds, he had to go back and start again.
O. Henry trying to get around Thunderstruck. Speed Dealer getting shut down. We are going to have a Speed Dealer do a passing of the star to Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton now in front. As he pulls around Chemtrail, Scott Slamilton trying to make his way around O. Henry. He's able to maintain balance on his skates. It's O. Henry.
Now this
hits
is
the
some of
floor
my
on turn 2.
absolutely favorite moves is when the jammer gets involved with the hitting. It really dictates how this game is going to go. The jammer goes down, and you knocked him down. Now you're out in front. You're forcing the call off, stopping the bleeding. 37-10. Belligerents are still up, but now we are back out there, and Puget Sound finally has got their jammer out there. Corey Payne's got the star on, and he's going to be going up against Culture Shock.
Four and 3 pack advantage in favor of Deep Valley. Corey Payne trying to make his way around Chemtrail, and then JB. And he does. He picks up lead jammer status on behalf of the Outcasts. Bonus Jones taking a hit at the back of the pack. Quadzilla also being forced out of bounds as a blocker on turn 2. Izzy Serious working with JB up at the front of the pack. And Corey Payne puts his hands to his hips. Corey Payne puts 3 points on the scoreboard for the Outcasts, 0 for the Deep Valley.
That is exactly what they need to do right there. Corey Payne, heads up move, got his 3 points, called it off, didn't worry about that last point because he knew that belligerent jammer was coming around, held him scoreless in that last jam. Dilly Dally with the star on his helmet, and he's gonna be out there with Jonas Downer.
There is the whistle releasing everyone from every line. Dilly Dally now trying to force his way through at the front of the pack. Speed Dealer goes in for an assist, and it works out well as he's working the pivot.
Dilly Dally way out front, and that was great work from his line. Opened up a little bit of hole for a little guy like that. He's through and lead jammer.
Little Timmy gonna head to the penalty box to join Thunderstruck. Now, pack advantage 4 on 2 in favor of Deep Valley.
Now this is one of those where maybe they were just trying to rack up points, or maybe there wasn't good pack awareness. It's now jammer on jammer time because he didn't call it off.
Speed Dealer actually goes in for an assist, tries to take down Downer, at least force the issue, creating some room for Dilly Dally up at the front of the pack. Dilly Dally's going to pick up a 4-point pass for the Outcasts.
But right now he's trading blows as Downer just picked up his own 4 points. We got a 41-17 game right now, and trading points is not going to be in the advantage of the Outcasts.
Thunderstruck working with Speed Dealer and Radillac there at the 3-wall in the front of the pack. Graves moves back to join his pivot. They're trying to take out Dilly Dally. Dilly Dally gets pushed out of bounds on the far straightaway.
And we traded them 2 and 2. It's going to be 43-21. And right now, in a team that is down, you don't want to trade points. It's really good to put points on the board, but if the other team is out there scoring, it's not beneficial. So out there, once again, we are going to see Mr. Dick and Scott Slamilton.
4 on 3 pack advantage in favor of Deep Valley. Little Timmy, number 7, sitting in the penalty box for the Outcasts. Scott Slamilton, Bonus Jonas working with Bowser. Corporal Punishment going to pick up a block to the head. Blocking with the head. High block. There you go.
Well, right there, he was trying to glide down that line, but just eked his way out of bounds, has to go back and start again.
Scott Slamilton now taking on a formidable 4-wall by the Deep Valley Belligerents. Gets forced out of bounds once again right after the straightaway. We're going to have a penalty assessed to Bonus Jonas, number 56. He's headed to the penalty box to join.
That's right, it was a multiplayer block, and that means he had a free pass to go. He's around on his scoring pass now.
Little Timmy working with a Bowser in the center of the pack. Nice sweep there by Chemtrail. And Mr. D, number 69, pulls through for another 4 points on the scoreboard for the Deep Valley Belligerents.
Now, I'm sure you all know this, but those players that he passed, all he had to do was pass one, and then he instantly gets his 2 points for the players that are in the penalty box. So it was in his best interest to try and get around at least one of those players before he called off that jam. Out there once again, we are going to see number 11, Thunderstruck, and lining up against him, Culture Shock.
Chemtrail, Sloppy Joe working at the backpack with their pivot. I believe that's Graves. And number 40, Izzy Serious. Radillac working with Quadzilla up at the front of the pack. Quadzilla goes in for a hit and a miss. And we're going to have Culture Shocks. He pulls through for lead jammer status. Thunderstruck getting recycled way to the back of the pack by Sloppy Joe, number 33. He's rejoining his teammates. Chemtrail now on the inside. And we're going to have Culture Shock pulling around Quadzilla for a 5-point scoring pass, advancing the Deep Valley Belligerents to 51.
Izzy Serious and Sloppy Joe really doing the work out there. They drew the cut. Thunderstruck's heading to the box for a cut on the track. They are in another power jam.
That's right. This is where the Outcasts have been really punished and taking a beating, as they now have at least 3 times that the jammer has been in the penalty box.
Well, it comes just down to this. If you don't have a jammer on the track, you're not going to be scoring points, plain and simple. And if you're giving the other team a power jam, it's just free points for the other team. Because right now you've got 2 players sitting in the box. Each one of those counts as a point every time they pass one of the players. So you have a potential to score 5 points every time you run around that pack.
Oh, Henry, oh, Henry, oh, Henry. Donnie the Star here for the Deep Valley Belligerents, trying to push his way around Dilly Dally. I got flustered there for a minute. Dilly Dally with a nice force out. He moves way back. We're going to have Hunter and Corey Payne working in the pack here, and Bonus Jonas now going to try to bridge. Bonus Jonas working with Dilly Dally in the back of the pack. However, oh, Henry then evades them going in the outside line, but gets stuck behind Bonus Jonas. Bonus Jonas is going to get a multiplayer block.
Dilly Dally really did the work in that last jam. Last ditch effort, took that jammer out of bounds and saved him about 30 seconds worth of power jam.
Passive offense here for Deep Valley Belligerents. Oh, Henry trying to make his way around Corey Payne. He pushes past him on the inside with a 5-point scoring pass on behalf of Deep Valley Belligerents.
Well, they're taking this back into the apex. He comes into there, and he's got a lot to contend with right there in that pack. Corey Payne, the last line of defense, lets him go, and there's 5 more points for your Deep Valley Belligerents.
We have Thunderstruck now back in pack play. He's looking for an opportunity to try to force his way through. However, O. Henry then taking on Corey Payne. Corey Payne trying to force him out, and he does it on the close straightaway. Dilly Dally then moves away to the back of the pack, and O. Henry wisely calls off the jam.
So for Corey Payne out there, really laying down some smackdown, really affecting the jammer's ability to get out there and score. And it looks like they're going to have a little powwow in there before they send their next team out. And you know what they're trying to do is figure out what they're going to do in this next jam to get some points scored. Looks like a timeout is going to be scored, and this is a perfect timeout right now. As you can see, they're down. They're not scoring a lot of points right now, and they need to make a change. So it's a great timeout. Calm your folks down, get their heads back in this game, and get the score back up on the board before it's too late.
And interestingly enough, Deep Valley, in the earlier game today, got themselves into some pretty hefty penalty trouble. However, this time I think they're taking a lot of that back, taking more control, spending less time in the penalty box currently than the Outcasts. The Outcasts also suffered from penalty trouble when they went up against Bridgetown Menace. And I mean, that definitively impacts the play.
That's right. You cannot give those free points in that penalty box away. You've got to control your penalties, plain and simple. If you've got 2 people sitting in that penalty box, you are weak on the track and giving away points. Right now, number 100, Scott Hamilton taking the track for the Puget Sound Outcasts. And 28, Jonas Downer taking the star for the Belligerents.
Chemtrail, number 76, working the outside line. Scott Hamilton trying to get around the pivot. And it's number 33, Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe taking on Radillac right at the front of the pack. Radillac, the last line of defense here for the Outcasts. We have some nice recycling there by Dragonaz, number 99, as he pulls forward to work with Quadzilla. Radillac taking a spill right on the apex. Dragonaz now trying to bridge the pack as Quadzilla has to let down or go.
Yep, out of play was called, and you know when you hear that, you get out of the way because you are out of play. Let that man go.
Bonus Jonas now coming in the farm of reinforcements. He's working the front of the pack here with Quadzilla and Dragonaz as the jam is called, and we're going to have the Belligerents with 3 more points on the scoreboard.
Well, both teams scoring some points here. It looks like 3-2. Not quite enough to really get the action going out there. Right now we're sitting at 21-69. As both teams have nobody in the penalty box. So it looks like we're going to have roller derby the way it was intended to be played, 5-on-5.
Culture Shock's gonna make his way on the inside lane to take lead jammer status. Speed Dealer trying to break up the 2 off the front of the pack. Bowser now going in for an assist. Dilly Dally gets forced out, and he's instructing his team to then go forward. That's Lil Timmy, Speed Dealer, Corey Payne, and Bowser.
Yeah, that's right. He did not want anybody to dilly dally back there. Move that pack forward. Right now on a scoring pass. On a scoring pass, Culture Shock round the front. That's 5 points, a grand slam with all 10 players on the track.
Deep Valley Belligerents really holding on as they keep the momentum going there now with a considerable lead over the Outcasts. This is a similar showing when they played earlier in that first 15 minutes against the Gatekeepers. They came out swinging, so here we go, keeping their momentum.
Right now, Culture Shock slows it down. He's in a small pack of 3. And he waited for a little help from his friend. That's exactly what you want to do. Get a little bit of offense. Wisely calls it off. Is finally dilly-dally. Quit dilly-dallied in the pack and got his way out. You know, Dragon, I think you nailed it. They came out there and they hit it hard in that first 15 minutes. And they really tore it up against that first game against St. Louis. Speaking of the Belligerents. Now, what we want to see is if they can maintain this intensity throughout the rest of this game.
All right, there's the whistle. That's going to release Mr. Dick, a.k.a. Freckles. He's trying to make his way around Bonus Jonas on the outside. Quadzilla is donning the star. He gets shut down, able to easily recover, and here he comes, pulling out.
Quadzilla's out front. Nice defense on the inside, and this is exactly what they need to do. A cut track being called on the Belligerents, and right now, this is exactly what Puget needs. A power jam with Quadzilla on the track.
Quadzilla with a nice little hop past Dr. Rotten, number 16, last line of defense. JB, the rock star, working with Chemtrail Graves. Out in the packs, they form that. 4-wall Radillac goes in for an assist, and you'll see the passive offense here by Ostentatious Corporal Punishment and Bonus Jonas.
You know, I'm a little surprised to see passive offense, especially with Radillac sitting up front. I managed to see a wrecking ball happening, but it didn't happen yet. But I'm going to keep my eyes peeled on this next time around.
Quadzilla with a 5-point scoring pass here for the Outcasts. Radillac gonna go in for attempt a sweep. Oh, Quadzilla's forced out by JB, the rock star.
And a destruction being called. Oh, when the whistle blows, and the Belligerents are gonna start with only 3 players out there on the track for this next one.
Scrappy Go Lucky came up here to let me know that there is a red Honda in the parking lot directly across from the Crow's Nest with Washington plates that has its lights on.
All right, Slamilton around the outside. He's trying to find a hole on his way through, getting a little help from the shirts in blue. And finally, he's the lead jammer.
That's right, as Mr. D sitting in the penalty box, Freckles. Scott Slamilton on his own as the jammer. I'm pretty sure he's glad his dance card isn't full. Scott Slamilton right on the inside lane with a 5-point scoring pass for the Outcasts.
Corey Payne was the instigator of all those points right there. Opened up a hole, made it easy for Scott to get through.
Oh, and another scoring pass, 5 points for Scott Slamilton and the Outcasts. Corey Payne now working back as he sees Mr. Dick try to enter the pack. Corey Payne going to try to knock out Mr. Dick and attempt to try to get him on a cut track penalty.
And another track call being called. Mr. Dick holding his face, unbelieving what he's seeing right now. We got a score of 77-49, and once again, this is exactly what the Outcast needs. They can capitalize on this situation and climb their way back into this deficit, which is not really that big of a deficit if you think about it.
Quadzilla, number 23, gonna take on the 2-wall of Sloppy Joe up at the front of the pack with JB the Rockstar. JB then trying to bridge the pack. Quadzilla's gonna pull through cleanly.
My God, that was the smoothest jamming back to side thing I've ever seen in my life. Quadzilla is through, he's your lead jammer.
Kimtrail was released from the penalty box. He quickly moves forward, trying to assist his teammates up the front of the pack. Quadzilla gets shut down by the pivot. They're going to call him with an out-of-play penalty. That's Sloppy Joe. The pivot, he ran into lots of penalty trouble in the first bout he had today.
And Sloppy Joe getting the penalty. They've got 2 players right now, including the jammer for the Belligerents. Belligerents right now holding on, and the smoothest skating I've ever seen by Quadzilla. They have climbed their way a little bit closer into this bout. Right now, the Belligerents still sitting at 77 with no points being scored on the track in that last jam, and a score of 59 for your Puget Sound Outcast.
And the jammer for the Belligerents continues to sit in the penalty box. That's Mr. D.
So that's only 18 points we got to look at. They got Scott Slamilton out there as their jammer.
There's the whistle. Scott Slamilton looking for an assist as Corey Payne moves to the front. He tries to make his way around Graves. Nice shutdown, though. And Scott Slamilton pulls through.
I can definitely say one thing. Corey Payne is not a person who likes passive offense. He went out there and busted it all up the best he could to get his jammer out.
Yeah, Corey Payne, not for the passive thing. And we're going to have Scott Slamilton on a 4-point scoring pass. He pulls around JB the Rockstar. Ostentatious now working with Bowser at the front of the pack as they try to shut down Freckles, a.k.a. Mr. Dick, number 69.
Slamilton made his way through, doing the funky chicken, calls off this jam. That's 4 more points being put on the board. Would you look at the score? They're only down by 10 points, 77-67. And we've got a timeout being called on the track. The Belligerents want to reel it in and figure out what they're going to do to stop the bleeding. Because right now, you've had a massive turnaround, and this game is only 10 points away. And as you know, that's only 2 passes on the track.
You want to join us for the after party? It is adults only at the Safari Show Club.
Woohoo!
3000 Powell Street Southeast. They're making food just for us. Big thank you
Let me emphasize adults only on the Safari Club.
Yes, it is a show club.
So, I'm sorry, but Spider, I don't think that includes me and you.
What?
Oh, okay. Adults, age doesn't matter. Oh, sign, mount, and body, no? Okay.
Big thank you to Viso Energy Drink, a sponsor of Portland Men's Roller Derby.
And Visos are good. Those are some great drinks. Had one of those earlier today, got me through a bout, and I actually got lead jammer status. Can you believe that?
I can, actually.
I know. Oh, no.
Was I supposed to say no?
Yes.
No, sorry, no.
Big hunk of burning love like me ain't gonna happen. Speed dealer taking the line right now for your Puget Sound Outcast.
With the O. Henry gets shut down by Radalac on turn 1. Speed dealer also getting forced out right at the straightaway after turn 2. Quadzilla working with Radalac. They're trying to stay out in front. Corporal Punishment with a nice force out as he races back. O. Henry then forced way to the back.
Once again, that was a great heads-up play by Corporal Punishment. He saw the knockout, he was in front, he ran back, and he has basically given Speed Dealer a scoring pass in a Grand Slam situation.
And a little bit of a tumble there. O. Henry gets around Quadzilla, but we're going to have a spill here with Corporal Punishment. Low block penalty now being assessed to Corporal Punishment, number 55. However, Speed Dealer with 5-point scoring pass. That's going to bring the Outcasts within 5 points of Deep Valley Belligerents with 3 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Well, and don't ever kid yourself. Speed Dealer knows exactly what's going on out there. He tried to get his point. He called it off. It looks like no points for Speed Dealer and no points for the Belligerent. But look at the score, ladies and gentlemen. It is 77 Deep Valley, Puget 72. That's where you cheer. And official timeout being called on the track. They have a couple things to discuss. I believe it would probably have to do with time, because it looks like both these teams are ready to roll.
And we are going to change the time from 3:24 to 3:21.
Corey Payne taking the star, number 19 for the Puget Sound Outcast.
So just kidding, 2:58, because we're rolling it back. So we have 2 minutes, 58 seconds left.
Well, right now you have to be really impressed with what Puget Sound has done. They're a team that was down by a significant amount, and they didn't give up. They just contained their penalties, got the other team in penalty trouble, and have now brought this game into grappling distance.
Oh, Culture Shock pulls through, take lead jammer status. However, gets knocked around by Dilly Dally. Bonus Jonas, the pivot, now working with that sternum block at the front of the pack as Dilly Dally bridges with Lil Timmy. Bonus Jonas just trying to stay on top of Culture Shock. Oh, Corey Payne's gonna go in for a hit.
I can't, once again, Corey Payne, not a passive guy. He was trying to eat the baby on that one. He didn't make it successful, but he forced the call off by Culture Shock. He ain't happy. He's pointing at his leg like something happened, but in the end, that jam is called off. We've got 2 minutes left, and it's still a 5-point game. Both players right now, or both teams have a player in the penalty box right now. So we're gonna start this next jam 3-on-3.
Scott Slamilton going up against Downer. Scott Slamilton getting hung up by number 55, Boy Band. Oh, but Scott Slamilton able to clear the pack first.
That was a beautiful play right there. They orchestrated it. They've got a nice 3-wall set up. Radillac dropping back and calling to let it go.
Nice communication there by Radillac to Bowser and Thunderstruck. Scott Slamilton gonna make a little juke around Chemtrail, and he's gonna put a hand to his hips, put 4 more points on the scoreboard for the Outcasts.
And that was a great call up. Looked back, looked at his bench for approval, called it off, and we have a 1-point game! All right, for whoever just heard that on the internet, that was Agent Meow confusing what I said. But aw, yeah.
Agent Meow hearing all the wrong things, playing all the right things.
That's right. And we can't do it without him, my favorite DJ and yours. Well, this is a case where the jammer knocked out Speed Dealer, and now he wants to go play on the other side of the track. So Speed Dealer right now says, I don't want to play that way. So go ahead, let's just burn this clock down. We'll start at the next from 0.
Yeah, Speed Dealer not expending any energy here. He's trying to make Mr. Dick then, come forward, and Mr. Dick's just sort of playing around. We're gonna have some people.
Right now, Speed Dealer just wants to play some derby, and he's waiting for them to decide to go.
Oh, nice force to the infield by Quadzilla. Nice hammer and nail then by Corey Payne. Oh, and Speed Dealer pulls through to take lead jammer status for the Outcasts.
And we're in a power jam! It looks like there was a penalty called. Skating out of bounds, possibly? I wasn't quite sure what that call was, but he is sitting in the penalty box, cooling his wheels right now, and Speed Dealer's fighting to get through.
Yeah, Icky did clarify skating out of bounds.
Okay.
Speed Dealer now trying to make his way around the 4-wall at the front of the pack for Deep Valley Belligerents. Sloppy Joe, last line of defense, as the Deep Valley Belligerents continue to try to run that bridge.
Sloppy Joe did not want to give that up right there, as he shouldn't. He played defense all the way out his 20 feet and then some, but Speed Dealer picks up his points.
That's right, Speed Dealer. We've now had a lead change in favor of the Outcasts going into the second half.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, grab yourself a beer, get yourself some grub. That was 15. We got 15 minutes until the second half comes up. That was some fantastic bouting out there, and you're only going to see more come this second half. We'll be back in 15 minutes. Don't go nowhere. All right, we're rolling back from halftime. And as you saw, there were some folks in the middle discussing some things, an official timeout. And what they discussed was two things. One, the skating out of bounds call that was penalized on the Puget Sound Outcasts. That's going to stand. That's going to stay just like it is. The other one was number 33, Sloppy Joe. He got a penalty for failure to reform. That is going to be assessed to him, and as you can see, they're going to start this next jam, one player short blocker-wise, and minus a jammer. Another interesting thing, and this is what you got to pay attention to in this game, is in the first 15 jams, Deep Valley did not have one penalty. And since then, and that's why they really had racked up that score, they capitalized on their situation and pushed the score up. Since then, they've had multiple penalties, and now we have a 5-point game, or a 7-point game. Scott Slamilton on the track right now, trying to eke his way and drive his way right on through. He's got 2 players left to beat, and he's your lead jammer.
Yeah, he pulls around Chemtrail and JB, the rock star. Last line of defense there for Deep Valley. Dilly Dally working with Bowser. Dilly Dally goes in for an assist, trying to take Graves out of the way. Works out in the Outcast favor. That's going to be Slamilton with a 5-point scoring pass on behalf of the Outcast. Bonus, Jonas, Thunderstruck, Bowser, and Dilly Dally now working the 4-wall in the back. They're going to try to shut down Mr. Dick. Scott Slamilton going to force his way on the inside lane. That's another 5-point scoring pass.
Now, when Mr. Dick left that penalty box, he came out fuming. He was swinging at Scott Slamilton, trying to slow him down, but it was unsuccessful. Scott Slamilton picks up his points, calls off that jam wisely before any more points were scored by Deep Valley. Right now, the score sits at 95-77. Not too bad of penalty protection there. They only picked up a few points, but we definitely had the score change as of halftime. And right now, we see number 19 out there, Corey Payne. Culture Shock is also out there for the Deep Valley Belligerents.
Oh, Culture Shock pulls right through the middle. He gets around Quadzilla, takes lead jammer position. However, Corey Payne now going to try to force the issue and try to pull around him. He's going to do a little bit of defense there as he knocks Culture Shock out of the way. Culture Shock's going to put his hands to his hips, calling out the jam.
Corey Payne, once again, showing he is no form of any kind, being passive. Jumps out there, he gets that jammer-on-jammer action, forces a call-off to protect any points being scored, and digging the Belligerents a deeper hole than what they already are sitting in. Right now, we have a game that is 17 points.
Downer now going up against Scott Slamilton, number 10.0. Thunderstruck trying to clear away, and he's trying to shut down Downer on the inside. Bonus Jonas now holding the front line, working with Speed Dealer in that 3-wall. Scott Slamilton trying to get his way around Graves. We're going to get a multi-player block now.
Now, right now, the belligerent defense is really tearing up Scott Slamilton. He can barely stay on his feet, twisting and turning, doing spins, but he can't find a hole yet to get his way through. And he proved me a liar. He's out of that pack.
That's announcer karma. Happens to me all the time. Graves now is working on the inside, moves to the infield, knocks out Dragon Ass. Huge hit by Speed Dealer on Downer.
Now right there, that was great awareness. He looked over his shoulder, saw Scott Slamilton bearing down, risked his body from a big hit from Speed Dealer, but he still called off that jam. Right now the score is 79-95, and we've got all 10 players out there on the track. Looks like we are going to have an official review though. Once again, official reviews, making sure all the scores assessed, the penalties are assessed, and everything is going right in this game of roller derby.
All right, so our liaison joining us, the infamous Randy Penn.
I believe he's just being Jake tonight.
Oh, that's right. Just Jake.
Good old Jake. In his tan khakis.
Beasy going in, taking out Hunter, number 8.
Throwing it down Randy Pan.
Just Jake. Just making sure a penalty that was assessed in the last jam takes place. Multiplayer block, no additional minute assessed. This is just the 1 minute.
All right, so it looks like they are going to set a penalty or a player in that pass ribbon penalty box. And we are still in this timeout, but it comes to an end. 16-point game right now. Puget Sound's up, but by the skin of their teeth.
O. Henry tries to push through on the inside, gets shut down by Dilly Dally. He's taken to the floor. O. Henry then quickly recovering. Quadzilla gonna look for that opening right in the middle. He finds it.
That was great offense-defense work right there. They got their jammer out. Radulac blocks him down, puts him out of bounds, tries to get the cut, but he also stepped out of bounds.
Oh, Dilly Dally, last line, and we're gonna have O. Henry through on that initial pass. Quadzilla just getting hung up behind the strong wall. Mr. Dick goes in for a hit. Is he serious? Then goes in for a hammer and nail. Quadzilla's gonna go on one skate, pull around Kim Trail, get hung up behind Sloppy Joe, the pivot there in the front by Deep Valley Belligerents. Radulac with a huge hit on O. Henry. Radulac then getting forced to the infield by Mr. D.
Now that was some fantastic defense right there. He had to fight an entire lap to try and get through there, and only ended up getting knocked down in the corner of the apex on the other side. Quadzilla really did some fantastic footwork out there, but still only picked up a few points on that pass. Also great work by the Belligerents to fight back, pick up their points. They scored 4 on that, so it really was just a trade. Right now the score is 99-83, and we got Corey Payne once again going up against Culture Shock.
Four-on-three pack advantage in favor of the Deep Valley Belligerents, not working in their favor, however, as Corey Payne pulls through first. Thunderstruck working in the front with Speed Dealer, the pivot there for the Outcasts. Thunderstruck goes with a force out now on Culture Shock, recycling him to the back of the pack. Thunderstruck with another heavy hit to the infield on Culture Shock. Bowser now trying to bridge the pack. Bonus Jonas working with Speed Dealer, Graves.
Now, you know, that was really great pack awareness. They knocked him out, and he's still on his initial pass. He hasn't actually made it through. And to drive him back and give your jammer the opportunity to get through, that's what you need right now in order to maintain this lead. Oh, Corey Payne, a machine out there right now, doing it all. He scores his points, calls it off after Culture Shock had finally left that pack. Right now we're at 109-83. Scott Slamilton taking the track for the Puget Sound Outcast. And Jonas down to number 28. Taking the line with the star on his helmet for the Belligerents.
Kim Trail working the outside line, number 76 for Deep Valley Belligerents with Mr. Dick, Dr. Rotten, and Sloppy Joe right at the front of the pack. They're going to try to shut down Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton taking his time, assessing where he needs to go to try to push his way through. He again gets shut down by that 3-wall out in front. Oh, and knocked to the inside of the track. He's going to get recycled way back. As Radulac staying in front of Downer. Hunter trying to bridge the pack with Ostentatious and Corporal Punishment. Huge tumble there.
There are bodies flying all over the place. Finally, a penalty's gotten assessed. And we are in a power jam. That is a low block being called on Scott Slamilton. So this is exactly what the Belligerents need to get back in this game.
And this is exactly how the Belligerents took that early lead, as they had all those power jams in succession, and they brought forth their score. Oh, however, Downer picking up a cut track penalty. He's going to head to the penalty box as soon as he sits down. That is going to release Scott Slamilton. Radulac trying to work in the front of the pack against Mr. Dick. Chemtrail choosing the inside lane.
That's right. Roller derby is absolutely no fun without a jammer on the track. So what they're going to do is they're going to spread out, go 10 feet back, all the way around, and he's going to have to enter behind them. Nice four wall being formed up, and now Slamilton's got to drive his way through.
Mr. Dick then really working the front wall. He tries to stave off Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton stays on his feet. Chemtrail then saying hello to the benches. Radlock working with Hunter and Corporal Punishment, number 55, Ostentatious, then moving to the front of the pack to join Hunter. Mr. Dick then forcing out Hunter, or forcing him to the floor, who have a 5-point scoring pass on behalf of Downer.
Now, Jonas Downer, I think, just caught everybody looking the other way. They thought that power jam was going to last a little bit longer. He jumped out there, drove his way through, picked up a quick, easy 5 points. And, you know, it wasn't so bad, considering there was 2 power jams back-to-back there, very, very short ones. Right now, the score is 113-88. And they got 22 minutes. This is anybody's game right now. So the key to this game at this point is going to be keeping your players on the track, especially your jammers. You cannot have a jam where you're going to lose your jammer on that track.
A push assist there from Coach Beasy on Corey Payne. Push him on the track just in time for that whistle. Corey Payne then pulls through to take lead jammer status on behalf of the Outcasts with an assist at the front by Speed Dealer.
Corey Payne drove his way through there using his players as a wall and climbed right along their backs. He's your lead jammer.
Oh, Henry pushes his way around Speed Dealer and Quadzilla. Speed Dealer now trying to get on front. Huge takedown. Corey Payne hits the floor, calls off the jam.
Well, there's bodies all over the floor down there. Everybody's getting real slow to get up. I think this one a breather. I don't believe anybody's hurt. But you can see, this is another key factor, is fatigue. It's hot. You got to stay hydrated, and, you know, there's wet spots out there on the track. Wet spots are no fun because when you hit them, you slide.
We have an official timeout being called. Again, Deep Valley Belligerents coming into this as the 8th seed based on the murder rankings put out in July. The Outcasts at that time were in the 5th spot. Lots of things have changed since then, with Mohawk Valley happening a few weekends ago. And now with this round robin, we could be looking at a little bit of an upset.
Yes, we could. And you know, that's what this game is all about. It's fun. You got to look for opportunities like this, and the Belligerents are in a prime opportunity. They're playing a great game. They're only a few points down, and as you know, all it takes is one power jam, and you've got it. You're back in this. So they just got to protect what they've got, keep their heads about themselves, stay hydrated, don't get tired, and keep driving forward. You can rest when this game is done. Radlock right now, Quadzilla out there right now with the star on his helmet. Culture Shock getting taken out of bounds in that corner.
Oh, we're gonna have Culture Shock pull through on the inside lane. He gets around Dilly Dally. Now nice whip there from Dilly Dally for Quadzilla.
Now Culture Shock got taken out in that apex, and he recovered so quickly, scrambled to his feet, and he's our lead jammer simply by will of force.
High block penalty now being assessed to JB the Rockstar. He's headed to the penalty box to join Mr. Dick. Dilly Dally now working at the front. Quadzilla saying, I got 3 points, and he did, but 3 points on the scoreboard as well for a Culture Shock.
Well, nobody got any farther ahead on that pass either. 3-on-3. Looks like we've got people out there talking about some of the plays. I want to make sure the penalties are being called. And we've got a review happening once again on the track.
Oh, no, we're just going to have an official timeout. No official review. I think we're just... Yep, official timeout. Kronos, the penalty box manager, going out to talk with Winchwarden. Winchwarden now going to have a conversation with the coach there from Deep Valley Belligerents.
Well, right now what we've got is 2 players in the penalty box, 1 from each team. They're going to be cooling their wheels for a certain amount of time, at least 1 minute. And it's going to be 3-on-3 out there. Winchwarden right now is discussing what's happening. And right now, Sloppy Joe is leaving the track, and he's sitting down. So there is going to be a pack advantage right now for the Puget Sound Outcast.
An illegal procedure was assessed to Deep Valley for someone in the bench going into the penalty box. That assesses a 1-minute IP, just goes to the pivot, but doesn't count against the pivot.
All right, this penalty comes to a close. And right now, Jonas Downer is going to be out there with Scott Slamilton.
Downer trying to push his way around Radillac, Little Timmy. Scott Slamilton getting held up by Mr. Dick. Nice sweep there by Dragon Az, number 99. Then Mr. Dick recycling to the front, trying to stave off Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton sent to the infield. As Downer pulls through for lead jammer status, Scott Slamilton then being recycled to the back of the pack. He's going to make his way with a nice little assist by Dragon Az as Mr. Dick tries to take out Dragon Az.
Now what you just saw was fantastic defense by two guys. Two Deep Valley players played epic defense and gave their jammer the opportunity to get lead jammer and get a scoring pass. That was incredible. I don't know if you guys saw that, but they did that with only two players out there.
I also want to give a huge thank you to Storm City Roller Girls who came down here to volunteer and help out. They're from Vancouver, Washington. They are a newer league, so a huge thank you.
Yeah, you know, Storm City, those ladies up there, those are fantastic. They're trying to get a new league started, and they're really doing a lot of good work.
Corey Payne, number 19, Dining Star here for the Outcasts. He's going to try to make his way around Mr. Dick. He jukes to the left, gets through cleanly. But, takes a little spill on turn 3. Wow, as Speed Dealer goes over the bumpers. And there was a low block penalty assessed in there somewhere.
Well, turn number 3 definitely has got a wet spot out there, and those players got to be careful.
And Hunter then being assessed an out of play penalty. There is no place for him to sit down. He's checking in.
That was a ginormous hit out there. He gets up, shrugs it off. Oh, Henry was going, oh, what the heck was that? That was incredible. This is the kind of derby you love. You know, this is for ranking right now. So everybody is playing to the top of their game. They're throwing the big hits because it's not time to hold back. It's time to get out there and play hard. We got 18 minutes left in this game, and the score is so close, it's gonna come down to who wants it more right now. Right now, Puget Sound's got 2 players sitting in the penalty box, and Deep Valley has got all of their players out there.
We now have an official timeout. And I didn't get the hand signal for an official review, but I'm gathering that that's, no, just an official timeout.
You know, while you guys are all enjoying this derby out there.
That's right. I want to know who came here to support Deep Valley Belligerents. Oh, come on, you can do better than that.
While you guys are all out there having a good time, enjoying this bout, don't forget we got some merch for sale right over there by the door. There's a lovely lady who would love to sell you a t-shirt, some pins, a tank top, and we got those in men and women's sizes. I want one of those. All right, we also got some Deep Valley shirts down there. Make sure you get your stuff. Make sure you get yourself decked out and you look sexy in derby gear. Well, we're still trying to assess what's going on down there on the track, and they're going to try and clean up a little bit of that sweat. You know, I know the men, the women, when they play derby, they glisten a little bit. When men play it, we drool. Our pores open up and geysers happen. So, yeah, they're out there right now trying to sop it up because it's not safe when it's that wet out there on the track. All right, I want to get a gauge right now. We got a tight game, and these teams need your love. Who out there is rooting for Puget Sound? All right, it's good to hear you guys brought some of your fans down, but I want to know really who's rooting for Deep Valley? Yeah, look at that. All right, in this next 17 minutes, I need you fans to keep that intensity, to keep the rowdiness to happen, because these teams are gonna get tired and they're gonna need your love. While we're waiting for these teams to also come out here and get on the track, I would like to bring it to everybody's attention that this is a doubleheader, and you ain't seen nothing yet. St. Louis, Gatekeepers, a little bit of Bridgetown Menace. That's happening here in no time. Get to see your hometown dudes take on a high-ranking team. It might get ugly. All right, looks like everything's coming to an end. They got the moisture cleaned up. Quadzilla right now taking the line with the star on his helmet. He's gonna go up against Culture Shock. Both squirrely jammers. See all kinds of fun stuff.
4-on-2 in favor of Deep Valley. Thunderstruck working with Hunter. Oh, easy use of the middle there as Culture Shock pulls
Well, what he did is he assessed the fact that they only had 2 blockers out there. Hit it, knock it open, and get out.
Quadzilla trying to make his way around Graves. Is he serious? And Mr. D.
And that is a grand slam, Deep Valley fans. 5 points for Culture Shock.
Quadzilla still trying to make his way around Mr. Dick there at the front of the pack. They get the warning for the out of play. We're going to get Quadzilla pulling through on that initial pass.
And he's finally through. There's another pass right there. He decides to call it off. But that's 4 more points he picked up. Right there, Deep Valley breached the century mark there at 108 to 123. And still at this time, there is now 3 Outcast players hanging out in that penalty box. And you got a full complement of players. Well, now what I said, you got to manage your penalties. And in this situation, it's ugly.
Dilly Dally functioning as solitary blocker there for the Outcast. Scott Slamilton trying to push around on the inside, trying to mix it up there, just getting shut down by Deep Valley Belligerents. Dilly Dally running that positional block with a nice assist to the infield on Downer. Downer then gets in front of Scott Slamilton. Scott Slamilton gets hung up by Chemtrail, number 76 from Deep Valley.
Now this is incredible. A real ugly situation where you've got too many players in the penalty box. Dilly Dally out there all by his lonesome, shut down for the most part, the Belligerents jammer, and now Scott Slamilton is out as the lead. Incredible play.
Dilly Dally working with Speed Dealer, now the pivot release from the penalty box. He tries to take out Downer. Dilly Dally just decides to let him go. Scott Slamilton is going to run into a wall of red and black.
Well, Scott Slamilton's in that pack. He's messing it up in there and trying to get some points scored.
Scott Slamilton attempting to get around Chemtrail. Downer now hung up behind Speed Dealer.
Now Jonas, like a ninja, snuck up in there. Mr. Downer picked up a few points, and I don't even think they knew he was there before he had 3 points already.
4 points now on the scoreboard for each team now. Speed Dealer being assessed. Penalty headed back to the penalty box. The pivot for the Outcasts.
Well, there, once again, they picked up that 1 point, wisely called it off. So it's 128 to 112. We're looking at a 16-point game with 15 minutes left in this game. Well, there's some real pretty talk down there on that line. The Belligerents getting a little belligerent about some of the jammers out there. Corey Payne does a nice little spin around. He's trying to find a hole through that pack. 1 player left to beat. He's up front battling away. Fantastic defense, though, by the Belligerents, holding him back for damn there on an entire lap.
Yeah, Graves just going right in and slapping each other, then recycling, trying to take out Corey Payne. Corey Payne is the lead jammer. Nice move there by O. Henry as he pulls around Bowser, number 64 from the Outcast. Ratlack working with Bonus Jonas and Bowser. Bowser gets pushed to the infield. He's going to be recycled to the back of the pack. Corey Payne pulls around Mr. Dick, but a nice hip check by Mr. D.
Corey Payne took a lot of hits on his way through there. It always amazes me how you just kind of give up your body and start slapping your hips when you want that jab to get done, but he was doing just that. Real hits at play. They're up to 130 now, and they got their points before anything else happened. Still a pack advantage right now for the Belligerents. Have been really conscientious of their penalties.
Dilly Dally now donning star. He's going to try to force his way around Graves. Nice work there. And Radalac holding the front line. Oh, Dilly Dally jukes the left. Pulls through. He gets around JB the Rockstar and Graves. They're all going to move way back as Radalac stretches out the pack. Night bridging by Quadzilla and Thunderstruck.
Now, right now, you're seeing some fantastic defense. They kicked him out of bounds. They took him all the way back, and they still got to get their jammer through. Belligerents going around the outside.
Dilly Dally just working it. He jukes to the left, jukes to the right. He gets pushed out by Graves. Slides on his stomach, puts his hands to his hips, and calls it off.
And right there before that bout came to an end, number 23, Quadzilla, got called on a multiplayer. Still, the Outcasts having some problems with the penalties. 3 points sitting in that penalty box every time you pass your first player by your jammer. Jonas Downer is out there on the track. He's ready to jam, but it looks like you're going to have a timeout on the track, and this is a good timeout. There's 12 minutes left in this. They want to make sure they have their game plan in order, because in order to maintain this lead, it's going to take all of them firing on all pistons for the next 12 minutes to maintain that lead.
Big thing.
This also gives a great opportunity for Winchwarden to get down and funky on that track. Everybody give it up for Winchwarden, cleaning up that track for us.
Big thank you to Kay's Lounge, a sponsor for Portland Men's Roller Derby, along with the fantastically amazing Blaze Streaming Media, who is here in force and allowing people at home that can't be here to watch this.
And this timeout comes to an end. The Belligerents taking the line with a full complement, 4 blockers, and Mr. Downer out there with a star on his helmet. Corey Payne out there with a star for the Outcast, really impressing me tonight with his aggressiveness and determination to win.
Radalac's gonna hold the inside. Oh, just kidding. Radalac then shifted to the inside. Thunderstruck's holding the outside line. Bones Jones working that outside there for the Outcasts. We're gonna have a force out there on Deep Valley Belligerents at the back. Radalac maintaining position in front of Downer. Corey Payne is assessed the lead jammer.
Oh, he is not the lead jammer. Looks like Corey Payne is. And but Jonas had his work cut out for him as he had to get past Radalac. Having a little shortage out there on the track. It was excellent, excellent work by the defense of Puget Sound to slow that jammer down, keep him in that pack. Don't let him go anywhere. And right now we still have the score. Nobody scored on there. 138, 112. Oh, Henry, number 0, out there with a star for the Belligerents. And Scott Slamilton with a star for Puget Sound.
Little Timmy working with Dilly Dally, trying to stave off. Oh, Henry is going to be assessed lead jammer. We're going to have Dilly Dally sitting in the box with Quadzilla. Pack at a cheer for Deep Valley Belligerents. Scott Slamilton now attempting to get around the last line of defense. That's Graves, number 13.
Well, Scott Slamilton finally made his way through the pack, but it took an entire lap. Fantastic work out there, and as you see, Puget Sound short a few players. Oh, Henry picks up his 4 points and wisely calls it off. Right now we're sitting at 116, 138. We're 16 points down by the Deep Valley Belligerents. Puget Sound, once again, still having some penalty problems. And that's really affecting their game and keeping the Belligerents in this game. Culture Shock, number 3. He's got the star on his helmet. And Scott Slamilton again out there for the Outcast.
Corey Payne working with Radillac there at the front. He's going to try to hold off Culture Shock. Nice assist there on the inside for Deep Valley Belligerents. Scott Slamilton. Oh, he got a low block penalty. This is a power jam for Deep Valley.
And that's a power jam, and Culture Shock's out there all by his lonesome as the only jammer on the track.
Quadzilla going to try to force them out, force that track cut, working with Radillac as Corey Payne now bridging the pack here. Radillac then going in for a bridge. Quadzilla just trying to hold them off, doing that sternum check there.
That was an incredibly strong move by Quadzilla to just stop and let him push him along. Now, I don't know how much time that he really burned off that, but it had to be a good 20 to 30 seconds. And that burned out a lot of points right there that could have been scored.
And a huge force out on Culture Shock on the straightaway. Dilly Dally was on the track. He was then assessed a penalty. He's now sitting in the penalty box for the Outcasts.
This is real heads-up play. Oh, and a cut called. Cut has been called.
All right, so I believe that Culture Shock is going to be assigned 2 minutes in the penalty box.
You know, in this late in the game, that's the worst thing you could do, especially because Slamilton just got out of the penalty box. He will serve those full 2 minutes while he's out there.
You got a cutting the track penalty and an insubordination.
He didn't report. He was debating who called what. And you know what? When you get called on a penalty, it's better to hit that box and sit down than wait for someone to release you than to argue the point.
Scott Slamilton with some fancy footwork. He goes in. Radillac going in for an assist. Quadzilla then holding the back of the pack. Corey Payne goes in for a sweep. Scott Slamilton now making his way around. Nice bridging here, Mr. Dick, that goes in.
You know, there was a lot of action out there, and only 4 points were scored. Looks like we got some official action.
Just
8 minutes left on the clock. We're going to have a pause here in the game. People want to talk about some stuff.
It's a team timeout for the Puget Sound Outcasts. 8 minutes, 18 seconds left on the clock. The Outcasts sitting at 142. Deep Valley Belligerents at 116. And an interesting move by the Outcasts as they are utilizing their final team timeout.
Jake, the man in khaki down there, trying to feed me some information about the official timeout that didn't happen. And it really is a team timeout. Right now, what they're trying to do is talk about their penalty issues. And if I was in that, that's exactly what I would say. We've got to contain this because every time those people are sitting in there, they're free points. The less people you have out on the track, the less chance you have of stopping that jammer to get through. And you don't want, at this point in the game, ever to have a power jam.
And the Outcasts are going to come back from this team timeout with a full repertoire of skaters. This is an interesting shift as they're going to send in Dragonaz, number 99, who actually came here from Tampa, Florida. We're going to switch out Bowser for Bonus Jonas, and Radillac is going to head to the track.
So it looks like it's going to be 4-on-4 in the blocker war. But the only person out there with a star on their helmet is going to be number 99, Dragonaz.
And we're going to have some passive offense. This is an interesting maneuver for the Outcasts. They don't often employ this. Huge hit by Sloppy Joe on Dragonaz. Dragonaz now trying to get around Mr. Dick as Deep Valley Belligerents attempt to bridge the pack. We are going to have Dragonaz, but he picks up a no pass, no penalty. So he is not the lead.
Not the lead jammer.
But he's the only jammer on the track.
Oh, and
currently.
here comes Radillac. He's going to open up try to open up hole number 1.
Oh, Mr. Dick just throwing down the herd, but Dragonaz with a 5-point scoring pass for the Outcasts. Little Timmy Bonus Jonas hanging out on the outside with Thunderstruck. We have Radillac then bridging there as Mr. Dick shows a huge hits on Dragonaz.
You know, sometimes it's not fun to be the jammer, even if you're in a power jam, because you got 4 guys out there looking to hit you and knock you down.
Oh, we're going to get a direction of play penalty assessed here to Sloppy Joe, number 33. He's going to join his jammer. Mr. Dick is also going to get a blocking out of play penalty, and he'll head to the penalty box.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in that case. When you,
Dragonaz incurs a cutting track penalty. He's headed to the penalty box.
It's sometimes no good to argue because, you know what? They call it. They call it.
That is going to release Culture Shock.
And they don't have to tell you if you are out of play. You just need to know you're out of play.
Formidable wall there in the front of the pack by the Outcasts. Little Timmy gets knocked to the infield. JP, the Rockstar, moves to the back of the pack. We are going to have Culture Shock pull through. Bonus Jonas, Radillac working with Thunderstruck. Little Timmy now making his way around that little trap run by the 2 blockers in the back of the pack for Deep Valley Belligerents.
And this is exactly what Culture Shocks need right now. It's 121. That's a grand slam to 152. They need this power jam like no other ever.
Oh, huge hit there. A low block penalty now on Bonus Jonas. He heads to the penalty box. We're going to have an official timeout.
All right, this time we have the official timeout.
An official review. Official review. It's the O.
Oh, yeah. That's enough out of you, DJ. Play some music. All right. Right now, what they're probably looking at is some of the calls out there. We're still going to probably start this next jam in a power jam situation. So what you want to do is get your jammer out there with the most juice in his tank. And you need to get him running around at least to get the lead jammer and possibly 1 scoring pass with the time still allotted from the other jammer in the box. And right now, it's only a 26-point game. So you need to get some points out there. You got 6 minutes. This is the time to do it, and you're in the situation to do it. It will be a 3-on-3 blocker war unless they assess something else. Randy Pan, do you know anything down there yet?
We haven't got to an official review yet because there's a clarification being discussed by the refs. That's within the ref discretion during an official timeout. When that discussion happens, then we'll go to whether or not there is an official review.
And thank you, Agent Meow.
That's right.
You want to check out the after party? Now, let me stress, you have to be an adult. It's at the Safari Show Club. You can extrapolate from there why it's adults only.
Well, I would also, if you aren't an adult, or if you can't handle the nakedness, you know, one of our proud sponsors is Kay's Lounge, and they are a fantastic place to go have a nice, cool drink. They got some good grub, and you know what? They're just generally good people. And in case you were wondering what our food tastes like there, well, right downstairs, you can grab some hot nachos, derby style, and they sell them right here. And also, while we have an opportunity taking this little break here, Blaze Streaming Media. If you are watching this online right now, or if you are watching it later in life, Blaze Streaming Media, they are the fine people who showed up tonight to help us out, to record this, to put this online, and help us put on this production. So I want to give a big shout out to Blaze Streaming Media. They are fantastic folks. All right, it looks like we might have some kind of an answer down there on the track. Randy Pan, give me a big thumbs up. What do you got, Randy Pan?
The review has not taken place yet. There will be a review, but the clarification was on the points accrued by Outcast Jammer. A penalty was called on the Outcast Jammer but they did not report to the box before points went on the board. Those points were taken away. That was what the ref discussion was about. Now the official review is taking place. I will let you know what goes on with that when it happens.
I knew they saw it. See, I was right. It's all good. So it looks like now it's only a 24-point game. It's 150 for the Puget Sound Outcasts and 126 for the Deep Valley Belligerents. You know who's coming up next, ladies and gentlemen? The St. Louis Gatekeepers are going to be taking the track right after this bout. And they're going to be battling it out with the one, the only, the Bridgetown Menace. And if you want to look super fly for this bout, there's a merch table right over there with your fantastic Bridgetown Menace jerseys, shirts, Portland Men's Roller Derby t-shirts, and pins. Hi, Randy Pan.
Hey there, it's just Jake. The review, the review is called by the Outcasts on whether or not Blue 99 had taken the cut for the penalty. So this is a call reviewing the call on the Blue Jammer.
So like I was saying, while Mr. Jake in the khaki pants out there was talking to me, there's fantastic gear down there to be had, and you can look cool and sexy while you're rooting for your Bridgetown Menace.
Oh, Edie.
But you get to listen to cool people like me and her, even though she's scared to talk right now. While we are in this timeout and they are sorting out, you know, the great thing about this is they want to make sure the score is right, because you don't want to get to the end of this and have it be a close game and have this score be off. They also want to make the penalties are assessed, because if you get too many penalties, once again, you can get kicked out of this game. And then also, you know what? It's nice for the players. They get to take a nice little breather. We get the refreshment. You got 6 minutes left in this thing. You want to finish strong. So all around, this is a good break.
I like how fans in the audience are updating me on scores of other bouts that are happening this weekend. I feel very informed.
You know, while we're waiting for everything to come back around, I'd also like to invite everybody around the world and around the country to come on into Portland and check out Oaks Amusement Park during the summertime. It is where the fun happens. They also have one of the best skating rinks known to man that actually has a pipe organ that plays music while you skate. So if you're ever in town and want to experience something of days of yore, man, that is it. The pipe organ at Oaks Park is where to be. Randy Pan, or Jake in the khakis, I should say. What do we have now?
The blocker that Blue Jammer cut was actually being removed to the penalty box at the time of the cut, so the call will be overturned. No cut. We're starting with Jammer in the blue, and points returned for that last pass.
Well, doesn't that just make things all interesting? So we're no longer in a power jam situation. Scott Slamilton's back on the track. He's going to be going up against number 28, Jonas Downer.
So what that means is that Dragonaz is out of the penalty box. So
And there's another timeout on the track.
I think we're clarifying time. And we're going to do a point tally just to ensure that all of the points are correct.
All right, well, when a score is this close, when a game is this close, you want to make sure you've got the right points. You don't want to find out tomorrow the score is incorrect. So 154, 126 right now is what we're sitting at. So they put 4 more points back on the board through that discussion.
This is a marathon official timeout now. We're working on 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you all for hanging in there. All right, we are good. The score stands 154 Outcasts, 126 Deep Valley.
All right, and we're going to get it back on here very, very shortly. She's moving into position. Slamilton and Downer are both out there with the stars on.
All right, there is the whistle. We're going to have Scott Slamilton trying to move around. Graves, nice tandem action there in the front as The Deep Valley Belligerents holding that line. Scott Slamilton doing a little pirouette there. He's now going to try to get around the 2 wall that now has come up in front. Nice, beautiful wall there by the Outcast speed dealer, Quadzilla and Corey Payne.
Well, that was a huge hit by Sloppy Joe. He came up there, put a wallop on Slamilton. Slamilton did some of the best balancing I've ever seen on skates. He stayed in. He's your lead jammer.
He used to do artistic skating.
Well, that was artistic derby right there.
Oh, a back block penalty now on Scott Slamilton.
All right, and this is a back block being called on Slamilton. 5 points just got picked up by Downer out there on the track. And the Belligerents are in a power jam.
Speed dealer Corey Payne and Quadzilla work on the front of the pack. Nice maneuvering there by Deep Valley Belligerents as they try to get in and break up that wall. They then try to trap Bonus Jonas as Bonus Jonas is now on the track. Quadzilla now working the last line of defense as the pivot.
And there we are. 18 points separate these two teams. It's a power jam with 4:45 left on the clock.
Oh, Corey Payne with a
nice
huge
big hit
hit
by Corey Payne. He ain't having none of it. His aggressive style is just out there to kick butt and take names.
Oh, huge takedown there, and then Bonus Jonas. Corey Payne and Quadzilla all move back. Speed dealer now working last line of defense in the front. We're going to push him way back. They're going to try to bridge the pack as Bonus Jonas moves back,
That's right.
forcing the issue with Downer. We have Corey Payne and Quadzilla now bridging the pack as Quadzilla is then motioning them forward.
And right now, this jam comes to an end, and I got to hand it to Puget Sound's defense. They played incredible defense right there. They only let them score a few points, and right now we've got a score of 157, 138, 139.
Interestingly enough, right at the end, Scott Slamilton was released from the penalty box. He actually put 3 points on the scoreboard to match the 3 for Deep Valley Belligerents. Oh, Henry going up against Dilly Dally. Dilly Dally then running into a 3-wall Thunderstruck. The pivot for the Outcast then moves in front, trying to create some window. Graves, last line of defense. Oh, Thunderstruck goes in for a block on O. Henry. O. Henry still struggling as Dilly Dally goes on the inside lane. Dilly Dally has been awarded the lead jammer position as he tries to stay out in front of O. Henry. A spill by Dilly Dally on turn 2. Dilly Dally then forced
look
the
at
infield.
that. The worm turn. Dilly Dally was out there trying to pull a move called Eat the Baby. That's where the jammer tries to knock the other jammer back into the pack. In that case, it did not work for him. He hit the deck, he got sucked back into that pack, and he had to call it off.
Sometimes you eat the baby, and sometimes the baby eats you.
Yummy. Kentucky Fried Children, that's what's for dinner. All right, we have all 5 players on the track once again. Quadzilla's out there with a star on his helmet.
He's up against Culture Shock. Culture Shock getting shut down by Corey Payne as Corey Payne escorts him to the infield. We now have Quadzilla trying to push through at the front wall. We are going to get an elbow penalty on, I think, Mr. Dick. We're going to have a takedown on Culture Shock. He gets infield. Ratalack then moving way back. Bonus Jonas now headed to the penalty box for the Outcast. Quadzilla through on a 4-point scoring pass.
Yeah, there's a lot going on out there, and I'm still trying to catch up with what's happening. Culture Shock managed to get through. Ratalack, oh, last line of defense, caught a little piece of him. Culture Shock slid out of bounds, and he paid attention to who knocked him out, though.
Quadzilla with a 5-point scoring pass. Huge takedown there on Corey Payne. Corey Payne now heads to the penalty box. Number 19.
And that penalty box is filling up quickly. There's 2 players out there from each team right now in the blocker war. Quadzilla glides by with that smooth motion he's got. Picks up 4 points on that pass.
Ratalack and Little Timmy working in tandem there. They just do a double hit on a Culture Shock. Culture Shock tries to get down way low. Ratalack then forced out by Dr. Rotten as Quadzilla pulls through for a
And it looks
4
like a
points.
high block out there, I believe was what the call was. And it pretty much looked like it. There's going to be a rotation. Number 16 having a seat in that penalty box.
Mr. Dick then released from the penalty box, quickly skating to the front of the pack as he positionally blocks Quadzilla. Quadzilla then gets forced to the infield. We're going to get an elbow penalty assessed to Mr. Dick as Quadzilla now goes through for a 4-point scoring pass. Mr. Dick again, elbow as he heads to the penalty box. Rattle-ack Little Timmy then moving back. We have Culture Shock then recycled back to the back of the pack as Little Timmy Rattle-ack works with Bonus Jonas as the 3-wall Grave goes in for a sweep trying to assist Culture Shock as Quadzilla pulls through for a 5-point pass.
Well, right now, only one blocker out there for the Belligerents, and this is not the time for it. 40 seconds left in this game. Puget Sound, when it mattered, put the pedal down and pulled ahead 184-143. Belligerents right now calling a timeout, and this is a good timeout for them. But at this point, with 36 seconds left on the clock and 2 players sitting in the penalty box, you got to wonder if there's anything really at all they can do to get back in this game.
Well, what it does is ensure another jam.
But is there a 37-point jam that you can do in 2 minutes? They could. I've seen it happen.
Yeah, there have been pretty massive jams put on the boards by MRDA teams. It is a possibility.
Oh, it's definitely a possibility, but like I said, they've got 2 players sitting in the penalty box, and let me see, Jonas Downer right now. He's got the star on out there. Scott Slamilton, they're all congratulating each other. You know, that's what I love about men's derby. We are friendly, we have fun, we enjoy ourselves.
We've now moved from a team timeout to an official timeout. Panty dropper referee on the outside now, making her way to the inside. Julius Pleaser, I think they're just ensuring that all the penalties are correct.
And it appears Mr. Dick is coming over here to watch from the sideline. He has been ejected from the game.
Number 6'9" for Deep Valley has taken their 7th trip to the penalty box. They are ejected from the rest of the game.
Freckles is now sitting in the front row. All right, 4-wall formed at the jammer line as they try to shut down Downer. Downer's trying to make his way around Thunderstruck and Dilly Dally. Corporal Punishment now pulling up the back. Scott Slamilton looking for an opportunity. He's going to skirt around Sloppy Joe, and he's going to pick up lead jammer status. We have nice maneuvering there by Graves as he tries to take down Scott Slamilton. Dilly Dally now working with the pivot. Thunderstruck at the front. They're trying to, again, stave off Downer.
Now, Graves jumped up there, and he went for the swing, and it was a miss. Now, in those cases, sometimes it can be a huge hit, and it changes the game. But really what you want to do is lock down that jammer, especially in something like this. Go ahead.
The period clock has come to fruition. Scott Slamilton now going to try to put some last-second points. He's going to pull around Graves, the pivot. And he is going to put 3 more points on the scoreboard for the Puget Sound Outcast.
And that is the unofficial score, 187-147. And really, that came down to penalties at the very end of that game. That was a good game the entire way. And I want to say that both teams were incredible tonight. Fantastic defense, some great jamming. It was a good game.
And quite frankly, that's just fun to watch. I mean, that's good for Derby all around.
And if you can hear my voice, it is a little raspy because, yes, I had that much fun doing that.
We're going to wait for the final score here, which will be indicated by
all right, and the Puget's going to go ahead and take their lap right there.
All right, put your hands together for the Puget Sound Outcasts.
Everybody get out there and show your love. It's good times. They're still deliberating right now with that score. Well, with the spread that we had, it's pretty apparent, unless there was a grievous error in the fields there.
All right, put your hands together for the Deep Valley Belligerents.
We've got a final, ladies and gentlemen. 40-point spread, but neither one of these teams gave up, and they played extremely hard this entire game. So share the love and don't go nowhere. In just a few short minutes, you're gonna see Bridgetown Menace take on the St. Louis Gatekeepers, so stick around. And we're gonna send it down to Randy Pan for the MVP.
There's a lot of greetings, handshaking going on. Then there will be deliberation, and then we'll find the players of most value to this.
You know, I think both teams had a full roster of valuable players. I mean, they played that well.